Melvins in their Melvins 1983 guys bring us their Thunderball album through Ipecac Records on April 18th. And today I am speaking to
Yes.
none other than Buzz Osborne. Buzz, thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Oh, thank you so much. Where are you at?
Leeds, UK.
Oh, I love Leeds. I've been there many, many times.
So Melvins 1983 is the early version of the band with yourself and the original drummer Mike Dillard. And this is your third album under this name. Can you give me a little insight into what the 1983 version of the Melvins was like back in 1983?
Well, original Melvins 1983 was we were kind of just figuring out how to play our instruments, and so it was a little less complicated music than we ended up doing. And then by '84, we had a different drummer, Dale, and Dale Crover, and so we kind of moved into more um, uh, uh, more like complicated time signatures and all those kinds of things. And then years and years and years later, we put out a record on Ipecac where we had demos that we'd made in 1983, and we put it out called Mangled Demos from 1983. And we decided, let's get the original drummer Mike Dillard back, and we'll do some shows with him playing. And so doing the old stuff with Dale playing bass. And so that's what we did. And then while we were doing the rehearsals for that, Mike Dillard said, why don't we try writing some new songs? And I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. So I started writing some songs that we could play with just the three of us that would work, because Mike Dillard's he's a much more straightforward drummer. So I had to write things that I knew he could play. And so that's what we did. And then we ended up doing that for 3 albums. And now this new album, it's just me and Dillard. So it's just I played all the bass and guitar and all the vocals, and Dillard did the drumming. So but in his day gig, he's a union machinist, so we had to work around his schedules, you know.
Hmm.
So that was meaning I would have all the songs written, and then he would come down, and he after listening to demos, he would come down, and we would record him, relatively quickly while he was on take a few days of vacation time, you know.
That's awesome. So,
So that's what we did.
yes, sorry.
No, that's what we did. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I read that you and Mike, like back in the early days, like you bonded over the fact that he was the only person who liked the sort of same kind of crazy music you did. And I'm interested to know what crazy music that was. What was like on your stereo back in those days?
well, I kind of grew up in a vacuum where I would buy records just from the way the bands looked on in magazines. So I didn't live near any record stores. There certainly wasn't any internet. So I would read magazines like Cream magazine, or Hit Parader, or just various other music mags that covered everything. And once in a while, they'd have pictures of these strange bands like the Sex Pistols or the Clash or the Ramones or stuff like Talking Heads, Blondie, and I would mail order those records. And so I didn't know or Bowie, I got this is all in the '70s. The Damned, all these bands like that. So I would have been, 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that. So I'm buying these records online or on mail order, and then waiting weeks and then getting them delivered and listening to them. And then I didn't know anybody. The town I lived in was very small. I didn't know anybody that was interested in music, the same kind of music that I was interested. But at the same time, I liked all the same bands that I ever did, which was like, bands like Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, all those bands, Pink Floyd. I never stopped liking that stuff, even when I got really into hardcore punk rock stuff. I always still had a fascination with Zeppelin, the Who, bands like that. And so I felt like, not only did I like a lot of the music that normal people liked, I also liked a lot of other stuff that wasn't on the normal mainstream, certainly where I was at. So he was the first person that when I played him stuff that he was like, oh, wow, that's really good. Everybody else, they hated it, or they couldn't get past Johnny Rotten's vocals or whatever. But but he was very receptive to it. And so
Awesome.
then he played drums, which is kind of how we got together. I was just starting to learn to play guitar, and we just kind of figured out how to play music together um, by doing it, just practicing together. So that's kind of how it worked. And then later, after our band was kind of going, that's when I turned on the guys in Nirvana and those guys into weird music, and that's kind of where that all started as well. So it's been a strange journey, but the people that I was around, that I grew up around, were not receptive to anything that I was interested in, not at all. And so I didn't really try too hard to make that happen because it was not really worth it to me. So, you know,
Well, yeah, you're joined by two electronic artists on this album as well, Void Mains
yep,
and Nematra on this
yeah,
album.
that's fine. Me
I think I've
Matrix, yeah,
said that right.
yep,
How did that
yep.
collaboration come around?
Well, I've known those guys for a long time. I always wanted to do something with it, and this with them, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. So I
Absolutely.
really liked that kind of stuff, and so I
Mhm.
thought I'll have them record a bunch of stuff, send it to me, and then I will add it in as I see fit. You know, that's what I
Yeah,
did.
absolutely. I mean, it's this album, when I listen to it as a full, the electronica sort of it feeds each track into the other. It's
Yeah,
like the connective tissue.
yeah,
um, which is great. And one thing that I noticed on this record as well is it's some of your like greatest sort, well, not greatest, but it's a return to straight up heavy rock riffing in a lot of it. There's some doomy bits, there's some like balls to the wall bits as well. It's definitely a very rocking record. Was that the
yeah.
intention behind this album to make it that bombastic?
Oh, I was really interested. Exactly, I was thinking bombastic from the beginning, and um, this one doesn't have any cover songs on it or any of the humor that the other Melvins 1983 records have. So, um, I was like, I'm done with humor for the moment. Let's see what else I can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely tracks that, and it keeps you guessing, which is what I love about your records in general. I like to be confounded. I like to wonder where it's going next, you know? So that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you
Yeah.
like it. My favorite song is this song on there called "Venus Blood." It's the last song on the record.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite one. You know.
Yes, fantastic. So you've now made more studio albums than most bands made in could make in 5 careers. How do you stay inspired? Like, how do you like stay inspired to be as prolific as that? Because there's only one other band I can think of that's as prolific as you, and that's The Fall. You
The
know,
Fall have done a lot of records. They did a lot of records. Yeah.
yeah, man. So,
I don't know
yeah,
how
what
many.
keeps you
I'm not really.
inspired?
Well, this is what I do. I'm a songwriter,
Hmm.
make music. So I work at it, tremendous amount, and I'm not afraid of work. And so, um, I always have ideas for things, trying it, and a lot of it isn't very good, but you just have to sift through all those things and look for the good stuff.
Absolutely. And you're releasing through Ipecac Records. You have been for a while now, which has an incredible roster of acts I personally grew up with. And it's always been, to my ears, the antithesis of today's mostly sterile music culture. Do you think the artists that they feature on that label which is a lot of artists from the 80s and 90s, were just built differently, built for longevity because you had to fight harder for your place in the music industry?
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what motivates other people.
Mm.
All I know is that when it became evident to me that I could make a go at being a full time musician, then I didn't really want to go in any other direction. And so I thought,
Mm.
okay, I'm going to do this as hardcore as I can. That was
Absolutely.
it. I mean,
Abs-
it's what I do, so I take it seriously and work very hard at it.
Absolutely. I mean, I spoke to Dave Lombardo recently, and I said to him, like, it doesn't seem like a money thing. It's like you just have to make music. Like that's what a true artist is to me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we managed to make a living doing what we're doing, but I'm not out there trying to figure out what will people like. I have no idea what people will like. I have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I know is that I make music the way that I like it. That I would appreciate bands making music and figuring that there's other people out there that will like it too. I just don't know how many. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's caused a lot of excitement over this side of the pond. You've just been announced at this year's Arctangent Festival, which is one of my favorites. And it's are you looking forward to the festival? Do you know much about Arctangent?
No,
No, it's a fabulous place. Very broad-minded festival. And I understand
great.
you're turning up with two drummers on this tour. Is that correct?
Yep, we went back to two drummers. It was Cody Willis. He played with us before quite a while ago, about 10 years ago, and we've got him back in the band. We just did six warm-up shows, kind of in the U.S., and then we're just about to embark on a 53-date tour with Napalm Death in the United
Yes.
States,
I'll
and
get
then we'll
on
be
to
over
that.
there. Excuse me.
I've got a special about that a bit later on in
Oh,
the
great.
interview.
But then we go to Europe and we do with Red Cross. I don't know if they're playing that festival as well, but we're playing most of our headlining shows with Red Cross.
Awesome.
So
So
yeah,
how's Dale Crover recovering from his recent health scare?
he seems to be doing good. Um, we just played six shows. He's been playing with Red Cross, so hopefully all will be a number one and ready and cooking by the time we get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have there's questions I want to ask, and there's questions I think the fans are interested in. Of all the collaborations that you've done over the years, are there any that stick out that you're most proud of? This leads on to the Napalm Death question.
Well, I really like the one we did with Flipper. I mean, I'll be leaving stuff out, and it's not fair.
Yeah,
Off the top of my
fair.
head, I like we did one with Helms Elite. I really liked.
Mm,
Um, we did one with two of the Mud Honey guys. It was really cool.
yeah.
The Napalm Death one I think came out really great. There's four right there.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as we've mentioned, you've got a collaborative album with Napalm Death on Amphetamine Reptile Records entitled Imperial Death March. Now, how was that experience recording with Napalm Death?
Oh, it was great. It's me, Dale, Shane, John, and Barney.
Awesome.
So it's a collaboration. So it's not both bands doing separate stuff. It's members of each band coming together and doing um, uh, uh, playing all the songs together as one band.
Right,
That's what we did. So
this leads me on to my special guest question. Now, I've got a question here from a fellow called Shane. He's from Birmingham, and he
yeah,
asks, what favorite food did Buzz buy me when Venomous Concept played our first show in Chicago? That's from
a
Shane.
$10 specialty burrito.
Yes, that's the answer I have here. He says a very, very big burrito the size of his arm.
That's right. It was the most expensive burrito that they had. I go, I'm going to get that for him. $10.
Well, it's clearly
Now you
appreciated.
can't buy anything for $10.
It's clearly appreciated. He's still talking about it. So,
Oh yeah, it was really funny because it was huge. I was like, here you go, he's just laughing his head off.
yes, he does. So you're about to embark on your US tour in Napalm, as you said, and
Yeah.
Shane's Dark Sky Burial are in support. Now, I know this is the first
Oh
time
yeah.
he's toured this, so are you excited to see what Shane has in store?
The Napalm Death guys are some of my favorite guys in the whole world, and
Oh,
I'm a
absolutely.
big fan of Shane's, and I'm very excited to have. He kind of timidly asked, is it okay if I do this? And I was like, yeah, of course you can do it. I'd love to
Absolutely.
have you do it. So that was great. That was really fun. So and I'm very excited that he's so excited to do it too, and I can't wait. Can't wait for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So over the course of your career, you've always maintained 100% creative control and written what you wanted to hear first. Do you think that's the key to longevity, just to stick to your guns?
Well, probably for me. I mean, like I said, I don't know what motivates other people, but
Mm,
um, I'm not one to take a lot of. I mean, I've never been in a situation where people would have been giving me orders. So
sure.
I don't know what exactly they would be. You got to do this. I've heard people say stuff like that. Like
Mm,
Caroline Records a long time ago in the '80s told Winter on Boner, told him that that our stupid band name and our stupid record covers were really going to hurt our career. It was
Hmm.
dumb for us to do that.
Hmm.
I was like, yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I've heard stupid shit like that. I was like, well, stupid band name like like our name, the Melvins. It's not unlike the Ramones. Didn't seem to hurt them. So,
Absolutely. And years later, here we are. So
I mean, what do they want us? What do they? What kind of name do they think we should have? And
well,
what
that's
kind of a
it.
dumb shit do they think I am? It's just like, why don't you just let me do the driving and you can fuck off? you
Yeah.
know?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Now, I asked a few people this question when I'm talking to people such as yourself and Giles Coleman or Shane Embury. I asked them all the same question. And it's that, do you ever allow yourself to take stock of all that you've done, or do you just keep pushing forwards? Do you ever give
Um,
yourself a pat on the back and go, we did all right there?
uh, I guess to me, it's a success as long as I can. This is what I do for a living, and then I think it's great. I really feel fortunate and that I worked as hard as I have to get to the point that I'm at, as far as like being able to make a living playing music, which is all I really ever wanted to do. So, but as far as like looking back at my career and going, wow,
Hmm.
eh, I'm kind of more of a what have I done lately kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's totally what I thought you'd say. Given the nature of your music and your output, it's just you seem to be always on to the next thing.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much. I mean, I'm very
yeah.
happy with the stuff I did in the past. I wouldn't change it, but
Hmm.
I'm not married to it as far as like oh my god, we have to sound exactly like that.
No,
Nah,
absolutely.
we're okay. I think I can do whatever I want to.
Yeah, and that's a great place to be. Um, right. So, bringing us to other people, is there any other artists at the moment that are on your radar currently that have caught your ear? And anyone we should be looking out for at all? Not often I get to speak to Buzz Osborne, so I'd like to know what you think's cool at the moment.
Well, I really like anything Trevor Dunn's doing.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's super exciting and fun guy. I did a big acoustic tour last year with him. That was great. And then him playing stand up bass and me playing acoustic. And then I like this band called Taipei Houston. We did some shows with them. They're really good. I like Helms Ali. I think they're one of the better bands out there. And of course, I really like Red Cross, who I play with. Steven is in Melvins, and Dale also plays in the Melvins. So
Oh,
it's great. I like that stuff a great deal.
awesome, awesome. And I've got this last question that I'm asking
Yeah.
everybody I'm interviewing this year because we're going to make a playlist at the end of the year made up of all these. But it's if in a parallel universe the board of education came to you and said we want a song that we've got to put on the national curriculum for formative youths as they're going off to college to hear. What do you think would be the song that you think would equip a young 18-year-old for future life?
What would I pick?
Any genre. Anything.
I would say Subhuman by Throbbing Gristle.
Awesome. Yes. Definitely get behind
Or
that.
my alternate pick would be Love is a Losing Game by Amy Winehouse.
Oh, amazing. Yes. Yeah, I think every teenager needs to know that.
They need to know that. They also need to hear Subhuman by Throbbing Gristle.